So just as a quick introduction for everybody, we met Heather and her husband on our first incentive trip with doTERRA. And so we ended up striking up a conversation just walking by each other, and they're super, super sweet. Both of them are amazing. And they're a classic example of using your passion and building your business on your passion. And so I think it's really cool the way that they've done it. I think it's really interesting with everything that they do, and I find it fascinating. So Heather, I'll let you go ahead and take it away while you have the internet. And
okay. Back a little bit. All right, thank you, Romy. We just love Romy and Mark. They, like Romy said, we met them in Tulum, and that was just really.
We lost you, Heather.
she's muted.
Oh, you're muted.
Okay, hold on, we're fixing it.
You're on. We can hear you now.
Okay, hold on, we're fixing. Okay, so sorry about that. But we just think the world of Mark and Romy, and we're excited to have this opportunity to talk to you today. So we're tonight, they asked us to do this call, and we're actually at a rodeo tonight. So my daughter's going to be joining us in a minute. She'll be fine. And I just want to talk to you a little bit about how we use the oils with the horses and ourselves. So this is Hollywood. This is one of our horses. This is Lindsay's goat chain horse, and he's also a heel horse. And he's an older horse. A lot of our performance horses are, just because by the time they get to the age where they're really good, they do have a few issues, you know, a few aches and pains, things like that. So it's been a really cool thing to be able to use him on the horses. So when I started with doTERRA a few years ago, when we started with doTERRA a few years ago, there wasn't a whole lot of information on horses. So we just kind of started to research our own and decide what to do that way. Sorry, she's gonna go, got a dog getting loose here. So let me just kind of go through a few different things that we use. So no different than people, we kind of started, Lindsay, come here. Sorry, put him in the truck. Sorry, guys. We got dogs and goats and kids everywhere here. But so we do a few things on the mood as well. So Jesse, come here, please, hon. Sorry. Okay, so when you use an oil on a horse, if we're worrying about like mood and things, we want the horse to actually like it. So this is Balance. Many of you probably use it on yourself, but it works amazing on animals. So I just usually with something like that, let the horse smell it and see how he wants to eat it. Like, so Hollywood loves Balance. He loves it. So when you find that a horse really loves it, it can be very effective mood-wise as well. So say if you had a horse that was really, really hot, you know, just really excited, had a hard time calming down, Balance is nice because it doesn't inhibit their performance at all. It actually makes it better because it can help them relax. So I just do a couple drops in my hand. I let them smell it again. And because horses are so sensitive, I don't normally stick it right in their nose. But like I said, they do love to eat it. So I'll just rub it kind of down his face here. You can come up here just so you can see the whole horse. Up on his ears. Come back so you can see. Good. Up on his ears. And then I'll just let him breathe it in. So this is a really great way to be able to use it on a horse, because a lot of times people will have to, you know, maybe use some sort of sedative type drug on a horse, but this way we're using something totally natural that the animal enjoys. And so that is one way we use it mood-wise. I'll step back a minute so you can see. The other way we use it is with these horses, they'll have a lot of aches and pains. So we use a lot of oils that help with that as well. So Deep Blue Rub actually works really well on horses. And when we started, we thought that maybe this would be something that, you know, you wonder how could it get through the hair. But it actually, I was talking to Emily right when we first started, and actually travels up the hair follicle, so it works really well. So I just kind of do a thin layer, and you want to stand back here so you can see this. So, so I just kind of rub it down the shoulders, on the knees, And then if we go back here to the back of the horse, the hamstrings on a horse a lot of times will get really tight. So I'll just kind of rub it down there, and then the hocks. So these are a lot of the points that you can get kind of get some joint issues going on. So I'll share with you too another thing that we use. So we tried to come up with a blend of oils that was kind of an all over pain thing. So we have things for bone pain and muscle and tendon, just to support those body systems. So we mix these 4 oils. So we have frankincense, and I have 2 frankincense out. Frankincense and deep blue and wintergreen and white fir. So this just happened to be one that works really well for us. With horses, you always want to dilute it. So we put it with coconut oil, the fractionated coconut oil. This is a bigger bottle, but I just did like 20 drops of each of these oils, and then I added 4 ounces of coconut oil. So it just is very diluted, but still very effective on these horses. So this is something we'll just do. If you want to step back, Jess, so you can show them. So we'll just do a thin layer. We'll just do a thin layer here. So we'll just do like 1 squirt. And same thing with like if you've got a horse with shoulder issues, we'll just do one. Pretty tight spray. Just 1 kind of broad spray and rub those horses down. And it's interesting, the horses can really start to tell that within a few minutes, even if it's not right in their face. It just goes to their bloodstream, and quite quickly they're affected by that. So it's nice because it's something that you can use on these older horses and not have to bute them and things like that. A lot of bute is a drug that they use. It's a just kind of like an aspirin for horses, but over time it starts to eat at the gut lining and give them ulcers and things like that. So it's not really a great method to use daily. So something like this is something you can use daily. The horse's body absorbs it good and it metabolizes it correctly. So it works awesome for that. Let's see. I want to talk about a few things like in our lifestyle. So this lifestyle is kind of crazy. We, like this morning, so my daughter is a goat tire, and she does barrels and poles, and she ropes as well. But she did a goat tying clinic for little girls. So she was teaching these little girls. And we've done this the last 3 days, but we leave at 5 in the morning, and then we'll get home tonight about 10:30. So kind of a crazy, crazy life, but we love it. But I'll tell you, one thing I couldn't live without is these supplements right here. So the doTERRA Lifelong Vitality, most of you that are using doTERRA products probably know about this. But honestly, it's a way to get real energy. It's also a way to get those proper nutrients into your body that you might not be getting when you're having to eat gas station food. And so it's really great to be able to support your body. And we really try to eat healthy and bring good snacks with us, but it's not always possible. So that is a great way to support our body that way. Mito2 Max. I don't know how many of you guys use this, but this is something that a good friend of mine, Crystal, told me. I kind of was under the impression that you just used it when you were working out or things like that. But she's like, no, just take it every morning. So I've taken it every morning for probably the last year and a half. And it makes a huge difference for me. Just like at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I don't need a nap. And so you're able to kind of live this kind of lifestyle and be able to perform at the level you need to perform at. So Jesse, I'll have you come over here for a minute. You can bring the dog. They like dogs. And so this is Jessie. This is my youngest daughter, and she's babysitting a pup today. But I wanted you to tell them about your favorite oil. Which one? So Jess, why do you like? She likes bergamot oil.
Smell good.
Smells good, makes you happy. That's important, right? From day to day. So Jessie's been working hard today. She was in the goat tying clinic and competing in her sister's clinic, and so I'm gonna switch here real quick with Zell.
Oh gosh.
So I got you there. This is Zell. This is one of Lindsay's good friends, and she's actually the state champion cow cutter from Idaho. So she's a very successful horsewoman, and I just wanted her to share kind of some experiences that she's had using the oils.
Heather's really helped me a lot this past year with using the oils. My horse this year that I used for the cow horse, and for the cutting and the barrel racing at state. He's really high strung, and doing all those 3 events was hard for him to differentiate and really use his energy levels. So in the rein cow horse, you have to be more calm, and where in the barrel racing, you have to be really fast. So Heather let me use some Serenity and just gave it to my horse a couple horses before my go, and it made a huge difference. I've never tried any drug or any pill or any supplement for my horses ever works that good.
Awesome. Thank you, Zell. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Well, I don't know if Lindsay's going to make it back, but I just want to open this up if you guys have any questions of how to use it on horses, or any questions at all for me? Are they live still?
I'm trying to figure out how they talk.
Or is it muted?
It might be. There we go.
So with the horses, are you there, Heather?
Yes.
So at one time we were talking about when you use the oils with the horses, it's kind of like when you use with babies and kids, you go light, right?
Yes, you do go light. So we usually heavily dilute them. I'd say if you're using it like topically on a horse, I would do, probably like 10 drops of coconut oil to 1 drop of essential oil. The most reason is because you really can, just need to spread it out usually, but they are so sensitive because they're so pure that they don't need very much, and they're very reactive to a small amount of oil. So yes, just like you would on kids, I would say, even maybe a little more diluted.
So Heather, if I remember right, you were, when we first talked, Wayne was telling us how you used, I believe you used balance on the horse just before it was ready to go out of the gate and stuff. But then after a while, all you had to do is rub the horse's ears actually, and you didn't even have to use the balance anymore. Is that right?
Yeah, it is true. I think once they get that calmness, they really can even just smell it. So like Lindsay always uses balance every time before she ties goats, and she rubs it on the back of her neck in a roller bottle and on her chest. But really that horse can even just smell it. And I just think it does something to kind of help their mood. And so once they have a good experience, a lot of times when horses are really hot or nervous, it's because they've either had a bad experience, something that's fearful, something like that. So if you can go about this in a way where you always apply the oil to the horse in a calm situation, so that they associate that smell with the feeling of being calm. So yes, Mark, you're right. I really feel like over time you don't have to use it as much, or even just smelling it on the athlete, on the cowboy or cowgirl, can make a big difference that way as well. And just give you an example. So like today we had a girl that she had a puncture wound on her horse's leg, and it was just a little puncture wound, like maybe a ½ inch deep, but that horse's leg was swole up probably twice of what it's supposed to be. So I'll just kind of give you a rundown of what we did for her. So I just flushed it out. I just did some water with some On Guard in it. We just flushed it out with a syringe, so we made sure to get all the debris out of it. Cleaned it off real good. And then I've made a salve. I didn't grab it, but it's a simple salve, and I'll just give you the recipe. Hollywood's saying hi. It's just, the base is shea butter, beeswax, and the solid coconut oil. We just melt that down, and say like in a 2-ounce jar, I'd probably do 20 drops of Manuka and 20 drops of lavender. But it's a really great salve for horses. So we put it on that cut after we dressed it. And then because it was so swollen, we did our pain blend, which we had, a lot of things to help with inflammation and pain. And we, of course, didn't put that right in the wound because those would be hot oils, but we put it around. So we put the salve on the wound, and then we sprayed the other spray around it, and we wrapped it with like a vet wrap just to kind of put some pressure on it. So that salve has worked awesome, and it's great for like rope burns or cut, just small scratches you have on the horse. Because a lot of times with the horse, when you get just a small puncture wound, it will like get infected and blow up. And I mean, to the point where that horse really isn't usable. And, for a lot of these kids, they might have 1 or 2 horses, but that's it. So when those horses go lame, they're out of a rodeo, and that can make a big deal for their season. So we're hoping this little girl has a rodeo in about a week. So we're hoping that will be effective for her. And so yeah, that's just kind of another example of ways we use them.
So again, Heather, correct me if I'm wrong, but so you guys pretty much, or you, I guess, more than Wayne, like me, but you pretty much built your business in the beginning, talking to people at rodeos and horse shows, and because that's your life. I mean, you you obviously you're doing that all summer long, but that's primarily how you started building your business, correct?
Yes, it really is. So we love to share oils and we love to teach classes, but honestly, we are not home a ton. And so that is primarily how we've done it. And, you know, the beauty of doTERRA is, you know, we started about 4.5 years ago, but it's been a way to support our lifestyle, because without doTERRA, we couldn't do this. I mean, it's just been a part of our life financially that it makes it available, because this is not a cheap sport. You're talking every horse, $5,000 to $10,000 to $20,000 a piece. You're talking upkeep. You know, when you've got 4 kids and they're all in 3 to 4 events, that's a big deal. And, you know, Wayne and I compete as well, but we don't as much anymore because we're hauling the kids around. So we figure it's their turn. And yeah, so we feel very blessed that way, that we don't have to go to a 9-to-5 job. And it just comes up in conversation. When I talked to that lady today, I wasn't looking to sell her something, right? She just knows I know about oils, and she's like, hey, Heather, what can I do for this horse? So that's all it is. It's just helping provide solutions for people. I don't ever consider it selling. I just figure we are helping to get horses better and to help those athletes perform better, because we love this sport. We do. We love what it does, and makes me emotional. I'm licking Qzell. So we love the families that it brings into our life. So rodeo is a kind of a unique sport, and have your rodeo family. So you go to these events and there are people there that you only see at rodeos, or you only see there in the summertime, but they are truly part of your family. So that has been a huge blessing, to have this business and our family all interconnected. So yes.
Awesome.
So you were talking about, I love the story of the horse that was older, and you started using the oils on the horse, and you were able to start, the horse was able to perform afterwards.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do know. So the horse that Romy's talking about, his name's Joe Dirt, and he is 33 years old this year, and he looks like $1 million. And they used him, they've competed on him every year. We probably had him for, probably 7 or 8 years. But in the past, before we had him, he was a pro calf horse, and then he was a college horse. And so he has been down the road and been used a lot. And when we got him, he was like super hot. Like when you back him in the box to rope, he would just be super hot. And so Jake learned kind of different methods. We used the balance and serenity to kind of help him calm down. But his biggest thing was his back hamstrings, like I was showing you earlier in the video, his hamstrings were so tight so that his legs would kind of like slap the ground. So some of these older horses, they just get some muscle issues and some joint issues. So his feet would just like slap the ground, and you could maybe run 4 or 5 calves to practice on him, which isn't very much. So the kid doesn't get a lot of practice as a horse is having issues. So with him, we started using this pain blend, and we would just put it down his hamstrings and rub him down every day. And we were very consistent. So with something like this, you really need to be super consistent. It's not like you just put it on one time, never again. We do it every time we ride. It's a small amount, like we're just slightly rubbing those joints down with it, but it's enough to make a difference. And so with him, we had done that several weeks in a row, and then you could feel his back hamstrings just become very soft and placid. So that's what you want, like a human. You don't want those muscles to be super tight all the time, because that's a sign of stress. So yes, and we got a lot of years out of him, and he's still spry. And Lindsay, I think she won a rodeo last year on him. At 32 years old, that's pretty incredible. Wow. To get that life out of him, I'll have to send you a picture of him. He's a super cute horse. He's home at the pasture right now. We have retired him a little bit more this year. He thinks he just wants to eat some grass, so he's definitely earned it. Yeah. But Lindsay's coming up here. This is my daughter, Lindsay. So she just tied her rib calf. Yeah, I'm like,
oh my gosh.
No, so Lindsay just got done with her breakaway run. And she's an awesome goat tire, and she runs barrels. And
state champion goat tire.
Yes.
Yay.
Lindsay's a 2-time state champion. She won it last year and this year. And this year, last year she set the arena record, so the all-time arena record, which says a lot to do with her goals and the ways that she prepares herself mentally. And then this year, she actually won so they have 4 rounds. There's, I think, 45 kids in each event. So there's 4 rounds, and then and then you have the average. So she won all 4 rounds and the average, which has never been done in history. So she set a new piece of history. So we're very proud of her. And like I was saying earlier today, she did a goat tying clinic. So we have lots of little girls that just want some advice and want someone to look up to. And so she's taught about 50 little girls in the last 4 days, and she's really good with them, and she really enjoys it, and she loves the sport, so it's fun to pass that on. So I'll let her just talk a little bit. We kind of went through some of the oils, but I want you to kind of explain how doTERRA for you has made a difference.
Like we talked about balance.
Yeah, well, you can tell your balance story.
Okay, so like my mom said, I do really love goat tying, but this is kind of the thing that makes me sane every single day, but especially the goat tying, because I'm just a really nervous person, just in general. Like I just get really nervous for everything, and so it was nice. And my mom first introduced this to me. I was just like, well, a grounding blend, okay, whatever. And well, then I put it on, and I was like, holy cow! Like I still felt like I was ready, and I still felt confident. But I didn't feel the jitters, and I didn't feel like I was, like I didn't want to go in the arena. And so that was really nice. But I love this oil, and I swear by this oil. I mean, there's some times where, like, you can, like, smell me, and I'm, like, drenched in it, so it's probably been a bad day. But, yeah, so this is my favorite oil. And I think doTERRA has just really changed my life, just in all the products we use just for our older horses, and just, like, in general, we've been able to keep doing this sport that's very, very expensive just because of this. So it's really nice to be able to share with people at the same time, and then kind of realize at the same time.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, and so I always have a roller bottle of Balance in my purse, and they kept being missing. Like I swear I just filled another. So I look in her goat time bag, 5. She has 5 roller bottles of Balance. So she never goes without them. But yeah, I'm just glad that she's able to, and she's able to share that at the school and give these girls, tips of how to use the oils and how to keep their older horses going. And yeah, anything else you want to share? Do you guys have any questions for Lindsay?
Congratulations, Lindsay.
Yes, congratulations. Great job.
Oh, thank you.
Does anybody have any questions for Heather or Lindsay? Anything?
Well, I'll go.
Okay.
I'll ask. So with the endurance races, can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
Yep.
we can.
Okay. So with the cross-country endurance racing, they have banned lavender. Have you guys run into anything like that? That you can't have lavender on your horses during performance? Because it works so well.
So are they saying because they're like drug testing against it or something? Is that what you mean?
Yeah. Yes.
So
Because
we haven't had any experiences with rodeo where that is an issue at all. I know in horse races they do tests, so you could take the oil to your racing facility or to the endurance facility and just see if, because it wouldn't be that it acts as a drug, but it may have some of those chemical properties. So you would just want to just take it in there and just see if that's something to worry about. We've never had to worry about that. So that hasn't been for us.
Yeah.
But
they list it as something that you are not allowed to have.
oh, interesting.
Yeah, because they know it works well, which is kind of a confirmation, but it's really, I didn't know if you guys had run into that yet. So do you do anything when you're trailering your horses? Do you use anything for loading and just trailering?
We haven't, but mostly because we have a lot of older horses and they kind of know the game. We do have one 3-year-old coming up. So, I mean, I really feel like in a situation where you've got a nervous horse or you have one that doesn't travel well, you could try the Serenity or something. But like I said, I would try it before, like when you're just catching that horse, before you're loading it in a good situation, make sure it's calm in that situation. The ones that have worked best for us for calming are, you can do lavender. Lavender. We haven't done a ton of it, but we do Serenity and we do Balance. Also Helichrysum and Vetiver are really kind of calming ones. The other one that might be kind of surprising. So we use the TerraShield all the time on the horses, just because when the kids are little, you know, and you're spraying the fly spray, because sometimes you really need the fly spray, right? They're everywhere. So I would hate it that chemicals were flying into my face and my kids' face. So when we got the TerraShield, we dilute it with water usually, and you know, we use it that way. But the TerraShield actually has a very calming effect on them also. So that's something that you can use just kind of on a simple.
Cool.
I think if you know it's going to be a stressful situation, definitely introduce it in a calm situation. And yes, and I know also with water, a lot of times if a horse won't drink water, or if you're going to a place, so like Lindsay's going to nationals in Gillette, Wyoming in about 3 weeks, and if we had a horse that we knew wasn't going to drink, you could just put a drop of water in their lemon oil in their water at home, and it just kind of purifies it. So if there's chlorine or any of those kind of things, so if they get used to drinking that at home, then when you go somewhere else, you know, that's a way that you can kind of disguise the water and purify it so that they're able to drink at other places where you can't really control your water.
Cool. Thanks.
Any other question? Or anything you want to add? Does anybody have any other questions?
I have a question. So we have a friend that has a horse that he works. He's like he works in a pack string, so he's a hard worker, and he it looks like he's lame in his back end, and it looks like he has a huge knot on his rump. They're not real sure what that was, but obviously he's a working horse and he can't work right now, so I want to try the oils because the horse is going to go bye-bye otherwise.
Right. Yeah, so I would say for a situation where you've got, I mean, basically a tied up muscle type thing, you've just got a muscle mass there, you could do the pain blend, or you could even do something like a Aroma Touch and just dilute it. If I had a horse that had like a chronic issue like that, I would probably apply a small amount of oil, probably 3 times a day, and really rub it in too. Oh, this is Suds. He wants to say hi. So you can kind of do some massage techniques. So make sure when you're approaching that horse, you let it smell him, just because if he does have some pain issues, you don't want to have that smell associated with pain. So just kind of let him smell it, get used to it, and before you go to work on the area. So if you were gonna do it, maybe it's on his hip or something, you could, you know, just put a small amount and then just really massage that in. You might have to start light at first, you know, if it's really painful, but it might take, you know, I'm not saying it's gonna be immediately, it might take a couple weeks of doing it a couple times a day to get that muscle out of there and to get that knot out of there and get the muscle to relax. But that's what I would try. I would try either that pain blend or like something like Aroma Touch, something like that, where you can do it. I find it easier in a spray bottle because you can cover a bigger area, but you can also just put it in your hands, dilute it with coconut oil, and rub it in that way. So you can usually tell the relief on the horse's face quite quickly. Like with Joe, he would like put his head down and stick his tongue out. You know, you can see with the horse, usually with a horse, the licking of the lips, when they're sticking their tongue out, things like that is a pleasure. So that means that that is working and that is helping them. So does that kind of help your question?
Yep. Thank you.
Okay. Perfect. Anybody else?
Before you sent us a list of like different recipes and different things that you use, do you mind if I share that in our group?
Oh no, that's just fine. And I can send you the updated version. I don't know if that one is older, but you're welcome to use that one. And if I've got a newer version when I get home tonight, I can send that to you in the morning. So yeah,
it's definitely older. That would be awesome to get the updated one.
You bet. Yeah, I can do that because that kind of shows some behavior ones. It shows the salve recipe. It shows the pain blend. And also, I will send you more of a. I'll get it done the next day or two. More of a guideline for your rodeo athletes, whether that means, I guess, not even just a horse athlete. So for the riders as well, kind of what we use to keep them healthy and going. And so, yeah, you bet.
Awesome.
You can wear whatever you want. So
perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for putting up with our unprofessional scene here. But
Oh, this was perfect.
Oh, it was great.
I loved it.
I really enjoyed it too. I think everybody did.
Iris, do you have a question?
Yes, I do have a question. Heather, do you use any of these oils on your dogs?
yes, we do use them on dogs. So this one isn't ours, but I'll kind of use this one to demonstrate. So I was teaching a doTERRA class, a human class, and there was a little dog that was just running everywhere along the back of the couch and was just really frantic. And so I had some Serenity, and we just happened to let this little dog smell it. And it was honestly like maybe 3 minutes, and it went laid on the back of the couch, and it just laid there. It's all calm. And she's like, "What did you do to that dog?" And I'm like, "We really didn't put even any oil at all on it." So just really even the aromatic effects. But what I found to be really effective is to put it on their little paws, so the pads of their feet. So I would dilute it, and then I would just rub it into the pads of their feet. So that works really well for mood. Is there any specific dog issues that you are concerned about, and we can kind of talk about those?
Well, my daughter has a dog they spayed before Christmas, and now he is really getting fat, and he is very protective of her. And I'm just wondering if there are some things that might help with that to relax him a little bit, which you talked about.
Right. You know, I would say I would try Serenity first, but just like on a horse, a dog is going to be the same thing. Kind of let that dog smell a few things. Vetiver kind of comes to my mind too. So maybe just kind of let the dog smell it, see what you think that way. You might also look into the hormone side of it. It might be, you know, that issue too. So you might kind of try different hormone oils if that, you know, is causing some of the, just those changes in that dog's body. But yeah, I would, and I mean, there is no exact written book on this. So I would go to your normal book, your Modern Essentials book, or your Essential Life book, kind of look at some of those issues and then just start experimenting. Because that's the beauty of this, is we know how to use them on humans. There is no different on animals. We're just diluting them. And so, yeah, so I would just try some of those different oils and see how that could work. And, you know, we've had some, well, I guess we'll tell Gypsy's story. I'm going to tell when Gypsy. So Lily has a little basset hound, and when she was about 5 months old, she just, all of a sudden, like, she was super sore. Like, she couldn't even walk like 5 feet, and she'd have to lay down. And we took her to the vet because I could not figure out what was going on. I have worked for vets for about 8 years, so I have a lot of experience, but I really couldn't figure her out. So we took her in, and they couldn't figure out either, but she had all over joint inflammation. So we kind of approached it as we would the situation in a human. And we actually did frankincense, and we let her just lick it off our finger. And we did, we even did a deep blue pill, because if you look up different anti-inflammatory issues in dogs, it has turmeric and frankincense. And so we used some of those. We just did one because she was pretty little. And the doctors had just basically said, we're just going to put her on some steroids. But it's not, well, they just said that would be the only option. Wasn't like this is a clear diagnosis. And I didn't feel super comfortable. And I love my vets. I mean, they're amazing. And I just feel like sometimes we have to, you know, go with our intuition. So I didn't feel comfortable putting our little pup on steroids. So we thought we're going to at least try this first before we try that method. And honestly, it was maybe 2 days. And she had been bad for about a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, and she was getting really skinny. So so it's just kind of, you know, using your knowledge and trusting yourself and trusting your own ability to care for your animals. And that's all we did with her, and it was amazing. And I'm glad we didn't have to put her on steroids, because that, I feel like, possibly could have compromised her little body for when she was older. So
Thank you so much.
yeah.
Anybody else?
Well, we don't want to. What was that?
Sorry.
Oh, that's all
Do you
right.
use the TerraShield for like flies too then?
Do you use TerraShield for the flies and stuff? was the question, Heather.
Yes, we do. We use TerraShield. We usually dilute it with water. And if we're doing it like in the horse's ears, we'll put it on a cotton ball and rub it in their ears. You never want to drip oil drip it in the ear canal, but we will use it up in the hair part. So, and it works amazing. I haven't bought like commercial chemicals fly spray for probably what, I don't know, since TerraShield came out. And so, yeah, it works amazing.
Sweet.
Thank you.
And you can use it on your dogs too. We just spray them all down.
All at once.
Mhm. Well, we really appreciate you, and I love that you did it like you did it, being out and about like that, and just being real. So I love that, and I really appreciate you taking the time out of your schedule and your life and talking to us. It was fantastic.
Now I understand trailer talk now.
Yeah.
Oh, well, perfect. Well, thank you for the opportunity. It's always fun for us to be able to share, and we just think the world of you guys and your team, and we're just really excited to share some more info with you. So we have lots to learn from you as well. So.
Well, we appreciate you. If you're traveling around Hollers, maybe we'll be able to hook up. Maybe we'll cross paths.
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lindsay's going to school in Colorado in the fall to rodeo, so
Ah,
Awesome.
I'll have to stop in and say hi.
Yeah. Very cool.
well, thank you very, very much, and good luck with all of your rodeos the rest of the summer. Again, congratulations, Lindsay. It was a pleasure to meet you too now. So we know you're going to have a late night anyway, so we'll let you go.
All right, thank you guys. Have a good night.
All right. Thanks again.
Yeah, see ya.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Kenzie, are you there?
Yes, ma'am.
You can stop the recording, please.